so it's what are you talking about? At any rate, welcome to week 17 of Ray's Tech Tips, or I think we should change the name to Tech. It's just Yap. Ray's Yapping.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we come in with these subjects and then we go all over the place, but who cares? This week we're going to be talking about EM pins. Yeah. You know, there's this rumor going around, spread by, well, you know who, that EMs are unserviceable and can't be made reliable, and they're junk, throw them out, and all this other stuff. And from what you tell me, that just simply isn't the case. If you know what you're doing to service them, they're just as playable as anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So, that's it, Ray. Run with the ball.
Neat.
What are you...
I don't know what that is.
That looks like junk.
Oh, I know what that is.
Put that on eBay. Throw it out.
Okay.
Where are we at? We're upstairs in one of our 50 different storage rooms.
Yeah.
I'm following you. What is that mess?
That's a game called Spacewalk. And it's the equivalent of...
Countdown.
Countdown.
It's Countdown EM.
Yeah. Actually, there's two pins here. This one is a Williams travel time.
It doesn't look like it's much fun.
And that's the head and the control panel, and this is the head and the control panel for the Spacewalk. So
we can send this to our customer as an update video.
Yeah, there's two pins. Yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
Shout out to, I know his name, Dave.
Roller Coaster Bill. Oh, Dave.
No, that's a Roller Coaster Bill later. This is Dave M's pin.
Yeah, Dave.
You saw him at the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
He asked about the progress on his machine, didn't he?
Yeah.
You told him, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
In line with the 5 billion other things we got to do around here.
Yeah, I started on it, man. Look, I got new line cord.
You started with the line cord.
So
everybody go see Tech Tips #1 on how to do a line cord and why.
I filed the points already. All I got to do is fuse holders, and this is done. Put it in the game. I was waiting to do that after the cabinet came back.
Okay, so that's the main control panel.
Yeah, that's the control panel. Sits in the bottom of the machine.
Okay.
I guess we can show folks how to do their EMs.
Okay, yeah, that's the purpose of this thing, Ray. That, and we're in the entertainment business. What I need you to do is I need you to beg people to subscribe, or click the like button.
Yeah, definitely.
And we got to teach you how to lip sync too. You could do that, and we're going to get you a cane and a hat.
It's the only way to do more of these tech tips if we get people like to.
Oh yeah, if you don't subscribe, we're not going to do any more of these.
Well, let me get my tools, and I'll show you how to start.
Oh, Jones plugs and all that fun stuff. Okay.
First, that's the first thing you want to do with an EM is take Jones plugs that look like this and clean them. And I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
I'll get my tools here.
Let's do that.
They are throughout the machine. They're in the back box, and they're in the control panel and the playfield.
They are the original pinball connector of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm with you.
The playfield for that is in the cabinet because he did the playfield.
That's out in the warehouse. We're not going there.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that's why it's not here.
It's in the abyss.
No, yeah, it's in the it's in the area.
Yeah, the abyss.
Area 52. Monitor.
What? You're losing your friggin' mind. Here we have it. Oh, we'll come back to that later.
Monitors.
What are you?
It's my shop, man. I'm setting it up. That's all. It'll be a duplicate of the home shop.
Ray, we're losing it.
Okay. Well, I work all day.
There's a tech tip video we can do. Your toolbox. Your toolbox. All the crap you got in there. How much does your toolbox weigh?
33 pounds. Alright, well, first off, you need Scotch-Brite. And I like to get the green for doing this.
Okay.
This is a new piece.
I'll contact Scotch-Brite and see if I can get him to pay us some money.
Well, first off, these pads are made in several different colors. Automotive has started to use these instead of sandpaper to sand and finish metal.
Body work and stuff.
Yeah, because this doesn't fill in, it's thick, and you can rinse it. Whereas sandpaper's flat and only has so much of a surface to fill.
Right.
So you can get this in several different grades. The green is what you're going to find at Lowe's, Home Depot, in the probably kitchen section for cleaning pots, pans, stuff like that. But the green is a medium grit. They also have purple, maroon, and they have gray. The gray is fine. The maroon is, of course, much more coarse than this.
Maroon.
Yeah, and the green is good enough to do the Jones plugs, and it's like sandpaper, only it's better. And steel wool is good to use, but it's too spongy and wavy, and it doesn't have a good surface tension to it. And you can't do those effectively. It just catches on the pins. Right?
Note to self: we can show them what we do with lockdown bars someday.
Yeah.
Which
Sure.
is basically that stuff on a belt sander.
Anyway, this is what happens when you mishandle a Jones plug.
It breaks.
Yeah, this is what somebody did to this. I'm going to replace it. I have extras. And it looks like they actually coupled a few together because this end doesn't match that end.
Nice.
And that end doesn't match here, so I'm going to replace that. But yeah, if you step on these, you break them. You see somebody's doing solder work on this.
Beautiful.
Anyway, this one is a nice unmolested pin, Jones plug.
So you won't really commonly find these. I've never seen one that was broken. I'm sure you do because you work on a lot of them. But generally speaking, they're durable and they're not
they are.
really
The
messed
fiber
with.
metal board.
Yeah.
The fiber board's pretty tough. They're easy to replace. You just heat the pin up with a larger soldering iron and the wire pulls right out. They're easy to replace.
Okay.
I have extras because I tore apart some shuffle alleys and cut them, and I have different lengths.
Save them, yeah.
So, but this is what you're going to do. You're going to just scuff the pins up this way. You don't press real hard, and then you go in between the pins to clean the inner surface like this.
Do you remember the tool I made to do this job?
Yeah, it's neat, but it doesn't do it as quick as this. And you can see it cleans the inner right away, all of them at once, all of them. And then you do your other outer. And the reason you don't need to do the whole diameter of the pin is the contact area is only...
Boy, we've talked about this before. It's square, and this is a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah, and it's only contacting the front and back of the pin. It doesn't do anything this way, only this way.
Okay.
So you're only wanting to clean this, the inside, this, and you know what I mean.
Okay.
And this is what it looks like when you're done, and then you can use a little WD-40 to keep it from oxidizing. And that's a clean set of pins as opposed to these. This fact alone makes EMs work, believe it or not. You can have this pin, and this is not going to work to pass current along to make whatever function. Yeah. So there's about 15 of these in each EM on the coin door everywhere. If you clean all these like this, and you've seen this only takes...
You're well on your way to
seconds,
having your EM working.
Don't use WD before you use your Scotch-Brite, or else the dirt will get trapped.
Make mud out of it.
Yeah. And if you do that, then you'll have to air it off with air. So unless you have air pressure, now the receptacle end looks like this. It's not where it goes, but this is the receptacle end. There's not anything to clean in here. The pins are what oxidize, and you're going to clean that half. These generally stay pretty good. If you could see what this is tore apart, they actually have a large swipe area in there, and just plugging those pins into these cleans these off. They don't tend to get that way. You can use WD-40 on this a little bit.
Just a little light spray.
Yeah.
What I like to do when I put them in, I'll put them in, take them out, put them in, take them out, put them in, take them out, put them in.
Three times.
Just to rub it a little bit, and then
Right.
you get a nice contact.
And then you'll be assured that you have that problem solved.
You didn't know I learned that, did you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing to deal with is relays and contact points. And EMs are broke down into sections. You have your contact relay banks that do functions, and sometimes they're labeled here, and if the label's still on, it tells you what it does. The score motor is what you hear in an EM cycle when you plug it in and it gets to home. These all have functions that are on the schematic of the machine. And
Arcade Russ says have a manual.
Yeah, that doesn't help for an EM. Because number one, most people can't even interpret how to read a manual for an EM. They're going to be looking for a problem in the game or whatever. EM manuals aren't laid out like electronic manuals because of the nature of the length of the wires and where components are. So it's hard for anybody to interpret what this point is going to do by reading a manual. Yeah. The best thing you can do with one of these is start with the simple things like your Jones plugs and your contact relay. There's only a handful of relays that will actually down a game. You know, your start relay, your tilt relay, your hold relay, and your game over relay. Those are the ones that are going to down an EM game. The rest of them, unless they've been mishandled or bent, are not going to really make your game down. The other thing on an EM I would do is fuse holders. I'd replace them.
Now again, right there, just based on age.
Right.
They get loose and point of failure.
Gottlieb has a habit with their games to have normally closed tilt circuits, slam tilt circuits. They're very troublesome because if this point is not tight, if it is floating,
Little oxidation in there, you're down.
it won't start at all. It'll be dead.
That carries over to solid state too.
Yeah, it does. But Gottlieb did it solely on their EMs, and everywhere except the pendulum tilt is going to be a normally closed tilt. So a lot of time you'll want to solder one wire onto the other.
Solder them together. Solder a jump across.
Eliminate it because you don't need slam tilts for home use.
You haven't invited me over to your house recently.
Well, you slam tilt games?
Sure, I love to.
Okay.
Especially, you know, if I hit the MagnaSave and the ball and the game resets when I hit the MagnaSave, or tilts out when I hit the MagnaSave, I will kick that game in the guts.
What a maroon! What an ignoramus!
These are metal files. This is what you would use to file points in an EM. It's a double-sided metal file, and it's fairly thin. You don't want to use a cardboard stone file like for nails because it deposits dust from the sanding grit on the cardboard onto the points, and you have no contact unless you blow them off. And who wants to clean the things twice?
No.
So you use a metal file.
Okay.
It's an ignition file is what I use. I get them from Napa. They still sell them, an automotive part. And then you're going to want a set of...
Did cars used to have like ignition points?
Yeah.
I read that in some history book somewhere.
History book. No, man, that was up into the... that was used even in the 70s. I think electronic ignition came out like 81 or 2, somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
80.
And they used to have these things called carburetors.
Carburetors, yeah.
And what's that? No, I'm just playing.
You're going to need a set of tweezers such as these.
Quadra junk.
You want something with a wide paddle on it. You don't want fingernail
chumpies?
Right, you don't want...
Oh, where do you go to get a pair of tweezers like that?
This is an electronics part. It's made by General, number 416. You would go to Mauser Electronics.
Mauser does that?
Yeah.
Okay.
DigiKey, Technitool.
So it's a real tool.
Allied Tool, yes. Yeah. And you can get different widths, you know. I have different kinds. I like these are wide. The correct way to deal with points on any game, no matter where they're located, is to find a contact patch, which is right here. And you're going to want to put your tweezers on either side and get your file in here, and then just apply pressure. And you can see what happens when you clean it.
Maybe. Hold still. Okay.
You don't apply a lot of pressure, and this stuff doesn't take a lot of material off, but all EMs are made to take material off, unlike gold-plated WPC later models.
It's the proper service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to take surface off of this stuff. And that goes for relays. These are a little harder to do when they get down in the lower levels, but that's a matter of technique. You can go through a set of points and get to the lower level right here and get to the second point set. It gets kind of hard, and you don't want to take the stacks off. you want to just try to get in at any kind of an angle that you can. And relays can be a little tough also.
Well, you pop the relay out of its housing, of course.
Yeah, there's a little cotter pin, and this is what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That
then
holds
you
it in
tilt
there.
this forward, and then you lift it up, and
Now
it
it
comes out.
for service.
And there's a thing to watch, you know, make sure you don't bend or short any pins. They're pretty elaborate. Now for these little things, you don't really need the tweezers because the points are so tiny and small. You can just activate the switch and use its own tension. And you can see I was dragging material off. Now they're clean. And you can see the operating direction. The solenoid pulls the bar in and the bar closes the points. That's the operating direction.
Or opens the points, one or the other.
Yeah, and you can tell which it's supposed to do.
So, and that's how you adjust them as well, too.
Yeah, now this here, you can see when I pull and it hits the stop, you can feel it. When it hits the stop, you can see this point is enclosed, it's floating. So this point needs an air gap adjustment. This needs to be bent closer. That is one of the things about an EM. You want the air gap to be... when you're actuating the points, you want to see this point lean this way.
Yep, you want to see movement. Yep.
Yeah, that is most of the problems with an EM. You don't see that, you're not going to have the function. The point will appear to be closed by sight, but it's not. It's not pressing tight enough. You have to have it pressing tight enough. And I got to tell you, with all the EMs we ever did, which is getting up there,
Yeah,
they
we've done a
work.
lot. Yeah.
They work. I know Russ down there in Feasterville, that's all he does is EMs.
Yeah, and he's got a good reputation down there. He's not afraid of these things. They are work. I mean, how many points you got there? 1,000?
Yeah, probably a couple hundred, realistically, a couple hundred. But you know,
So it takes a little patience to sit there with a file and
just go in line and don't be in a hurry to go anywhere.
right.
What you do today will last for a long time. Unless you store this thing in humid, damp outdoor environment, they're not going to oxidize up right away. They work. You know, I do service calls all over the place on these things, and believe me, people will call you back if something don't
Oh well,
work.
sure.
And I don't have any reoccurrences on EMs.
No, you don't get calls back.
No, very seldom at all. Do I even have a question?
The failures on these machines, is it 99% dirty contacts, dirty or misadjusted contacts, or
99% this in contacts.
so to make your EM work, it's a matter of clean and adjust.
Yeah.
I assume once in a while you'll see a failed coil. And of course, do we have score reels around here?
Yeah. There's score reels.
Okay, well, that's another point of failure is the score wheel. Score reels get,
They get sticky.
Yeah, gummed up, and then they don't behave.
Yeah, the Gottlieb score reels come off with a little plastic latch you move aside here.
Uh-oh.
See it?
Yeah, I do.
You pull that aside, and then that latches onto the surface, and they come out. And then the cabling is made that you can work on it a distance from the machine, and you can cycle it, you know, by hand. The coil's right here. This is the little cycle part. It's made. That's why they put that there. And you can hold it in and spin it and clean the wheels. And there's a little contact surface on the end of this.
That tells the machine what position it's in, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. There's really not a lot of trouble to these unless they've been handled or worked on poorly. They usually are pretty good. But the most thing you're going to see is this wheel sticking. If it's not real free, it won't advance.
Okay, and how do you service that?
Well, you would take it apart. You know, there's 2 screws here, and then a keeper here, and the board comes off, and you would clean the board. That will give you access to the shaft to clean or certain.
Clean the goop, gunk, and 50 years worth of dirt out of there.
Right.
The score reel itself, you just wash that in the sink?
This you got to be careful of because this is painted.
Sometimes the numbers will give up on you.
The numbers will totally go off. If you use Windex or any kind of soap, like Awesome strong soap, if you spray soap on there, it's gone.
Okay.
It will run off to gray. You want to clean these with a a terry cloth with water, damp, wet, whatever, and maybe a hint of soap on it that you wringed out of it. You know, then that'll bust the dirt off.
Something really mild.
Yeah, and it won't take your you know.
Or even like Pledge. Do you use Pledge on that?
Yeah, Pledge might work. If you got real dirty ones, then you got to use a little bit of water and soap. You know, very little soap, but you got to use that, you know, to do it. But if you have clean ones like this, I would just Pledge these and make them shinier yet. So then you can hold it in and then just Pledge, you know, as you're going along. It's easy to do. They're neat. These things were neat because this is what pins were. This is what they were for a lot of years.
This is what your grandfather played.
My grandfather?
No, I was talking to the audience.
Oh. Okay. Anyway,
Your grandfather, I don't know what he did.
I don't know.
Did they probably played maybe horseshoes or chase the buffalo?
Yeah, maybe. Croquet.
Oh Lord.
Oh, well.
Golf's a pretty old game.
Golf, yeah, that's old.
Ray, did we just teach them everything there was to do with EMs? What's this over here? This unit here. What's this? What do you do there?
It's a stepper unit.
Okay. What's it doing? What do you?
There's several of them in a machine. Usually, there's one in the back box, and this is a later pin, so I don't think there's too many of these in this game. Well, what it does is it has contact points that run across the dots. These dots are like a brass.
They float on a spring of sorts.
Yeah, and you can use the same thing I showed you there, the Scotch-Brite, and you can scuff these up a little bit. The right way to clean this is not to fight with trying to get around all the mechanism.
Take it apart.
Take the 3 screws loose and out, and mark it like this one has been done.
Okay, yeah, it's got a key mark on it.
Yeah, that way you won't put it on backwards. And these are slotted so they can go every which way, so you want to make sure you put it back on so your dot lines up when you're moving. But then you can clean the backs, the pins, which are spring loaded, and then you can clean the board real easy because it's open. Yeah, that's called a stepper unit. There's different varying types of those, you know. And of course this is a Gottlieb playfield. If you look over there, the score motor is not stacked. It's going across horizontal.
Okay, that's Williams
travel time. Yeah,
that's Williams' equivalent of this.
Yeah, this
monstrosity.
it's a vertical up mechanism, and it has 2 rows of cams, whereas that has cams all the way across. Williams did it that way. Gottlieb always did it this way. This is a Gottlieb style, you'll see, and Bally did it that way also. And that is the score motor assembly on a Williams, whereas this is a score motor on a Gottlieb. But
okay.
Yeah, and you can see they lay their points out a little different. A lot easier than actually Gottlieb. If you see, you don't have to take these out to get
yeah,
them. They're right there, and you're
that
done.
looks neater.
Yeah, that is much nicer to work on, I gotta say.
Well,
As reliable as Gottlieb stuff is, and I like the way it's made and works, I think that's a nicer service.
That sounds kind of different than what I'm used to hearing you say.
Harder to find a problem in a Williams and Bally game.
Yeah,
Easier to work on, harder to find a problem.
Yeah, I know your preference is to the Gottlieb EM. So is the market, by the way.
Yeah.
With a few exceptions,
I think they made more.
like you know, Fireball or Captain Fantastic. You know, there are some. Well, those are 2 Ballys. I don't know if I can even name one Williams that's.
Oh man, Gulfstream, Travel Time. What else? I used to play Time Tunnel. There's a lot of Triple Strike.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as collectability goes, though, it's 95% Gottlieb.
Gottlieb, yeah, there is no Williams that are collectible really, except if you get back into the old ones, which I think Kingpin was a Williams game. It's a single-player collectible game.
Now,
I'm not familiar with a lot of them. I just see so many of them. I think they're neat. You know, it's what I used to play actually.
Advice for entry-level person that may be interested in doing an EM.
They're relatively low cost to get.
But yeah, you can get them for almost nothing.
Yeah.
I heard you were at the show and you were tempted to bring back. You were in a trailer or something, and the guy had a handful of them, and they were like $300-400 a piece.
Yeah, they were.
And they were nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I got a text from Jim and I said, well, I don't care if they're free. If they come back, they're going to that. Of course, I was playing, but
I don't know. You know, I got so many projects. I don't.
Well, yeah,
maybe next year.
Yeah, that's
okay?
that's the real answer. Is we don't want it.
There was a high hand there, and I like that game. That's a neat game. Well, that's a Gottlieb single player wedge head. I like that game.
Oh well, that's what I was getting to. Was that point is
get into the single player if you're getting into entry level.
Yep, because
don't get a 4-player. Too much work. Too much more stuff.
Well, because everything we just looked at there on a 4-player, there's 4 times as much of it.
That's a 4-player.
Because it needs its own brain for each player.
Right. This is a 2-player head spacewalk. 4-player will have twice too many more rows of that. Yeah. And a lot more on the playfield. This is a single-player Williams. You can see one set of score reels.
Yep,
there.
one set of score reels, a whole lot less stuff to fool with.
Yeah, so if you're going to get into it, get into a single-player machine, whatever you choose as far as brand. That's not really...
Well, and I got news for you about EM pins, Ray. It doesn't really matter which one you choose because they're all the same. Extra super boring.
Yeah, well, they're all level playfield. Features are limited because you can't do all them stuff. All the stuff EMs, you can't do all that a solid state does. You'd have 10 times this amount of electronics to do it.
Trivia question for our viewers. Name, if you can, all of them. I don't know how many there are, so this may be a lofty question.
Yeah.
EM pins with multi-ball. I've seen it. Well, I've seen one. I know there's more than one.
Yeah, very seldom.
Oh,
But
very few.
That Nippet had Nippet is not a valid answer because I just gave it to you.
Right.
But I'm sure that's not the only one. I thought that was pretty neat that it was able to handle that.
There's another one.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Actually, two.
Okay, well, don't give them away. There's an EM pin that does have ramps.
Yeah.
Don't give it away.
Couple of them.
Don't give it away. I think that was your first pin, was it not? Your very first pin.
Oh, wire ramps, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another game with ramps, but wire ramps, yeah. There was only one pin that had wire ramps.
Okay. So everybody out there, no, Jim, you can't have this one because you know the answer. What was Ray's first pin? It was an EM with wire ramps. Did it have flippers?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking
Two.
since it was your first pin, it might not have flippers.
No, man. That's pre-war stuff.
Okay. Well, that's EM pins. Did we miss anything?
Well, now, the only thing I could suggest is this is a touch of what you could do when you get one to start. Most of the time you'll get frustrated in not getting one to work, but
Well, it's a matter of patience. There are a lot of points.
If you know these two things, Jones plugs first, and contact points, and how to adjust them and clean them, file them, then you'll get it to work.
Show these folks a proper adjustment tool
Okay.
and tell them where to get it and stuff like that. I'm feeling like I'm not very exciting in this video, Ray. I don't know. It was kind of a long day.
Yeah. This is it. You can get variants of it, but it has the 90-degree end for points and the straight end.
Okay, and there's a little gap in there.
Yeah, the gap is small. Because,
how's that work, Ray?
Well, here.
Pick one.
Pick one. Okay. This is normally open right now. There, now it's closed. If you've seen it like that,
Oh.
okay, now that's open. Okay, that's fine because it's open. It gets to the cam end, drops down. That should be closed. And this point part is bent. So to fix it, you'd want to go in the middle of it, and you'd want to give it some lean down on it. And then you could also lean up on that. And you can get near the end too to put pressure on it, if you like. And that wafer is a dielectric wafer, by the way.
Uh-oh. Meaning it doesn't conduct electricity.
Right. There we go. So now you got a point that is tight.
Okay. Now, of course, you double check your work and you go to the other position again.
Yeah, and you go up. It opens.
There. Sweet.
You actually can adjust it at this point if you want. You can make your gap less.
Just
So
make
when
sure
it
you're
drops
open.
down, yeah, you can control your air gap. And then when it drops down, you can see it, this bottom part of the point, you can see it moving.
All right, we're going to talk about piano tuning, Ray. You might not know anything about tuning a piano.
No, I don't.
But you know, you tune one string. Now, of course, most people don't tune their own pianos. It's, you know, you got to have the professional tooling to do it. But after you tune a string and you work your way one way or the other, you have to go back and you actually have to redo your work because what you did elsewhere knocked you back out of tune in other areas.
Perhaps.
So what you just did there, you need to be careful that you don't go overboard and mess up the gaps on a different set of points.
Yeah, you should check all of them.
Have you seen that where the spring tension from one messes up another?
Right.
Yeah. Just something to watch for. Sounds like I'm ready to work on EMs, Ray.
Well, no, I mean...
What? I'm not?
Some people don't like them, Mike. Some do.
I gotta tell you, every EM that's come through here that I passed along as a junk project, I was able to make it work before it left.
I can tell you one thing. This was the first pin. These were the first pins that people really played. It didn't start out with electronics and go back to these and then went back to electronics. It started here and then went to electronics. The only reason it went to electronics was features and
Cost to
this takes
manufacture.
too much to make. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably a 50-50 balance. They basically, the very end of the EM machines, they shot it to the moon what the things were capable of doing.
They work on low voltage. You don't get hurt fixing these, by the way. You can work on them on or off. I like to work on them off because you don't, damage anything by rotating. There's 110 volts goes to this motor, but other than that, there's only 24, 30 volts, and 6 volts. Like here, you can see what's in here. Light boxes, of course, are your lights. That's 6 volts, 25 volts. That's all that's in here. There isn't anything else except the play motor is 110.
Okay.
And line voltage here for service outlet.
Well, one thing I do like about the EMs, to work on and even to own, which then I don't own one, but they are, they've been accused of being less durable and less reliable and all that. That is the totally wrong thing. These things are, how to explain this? They're not delicate. The way they work, they're not a little circuit board that if it gets an extra 2 volts, a component blows up.
That's delicate.
Yeah, this I don't know. Can you do anything to really damage an EM when you're working on it? Yeah.
You bend the points and you get lost bending points and trying to get them back. You should have this point adjuster because if you're in there with pliers or a screwdriver or anything else with fingers.
Would you like to reword what I tried to say, because it didn't make sense when I said it? They're durable things.
Yeah, they are. You can't really hurt the thing. At the most time, you'll have some wires come off of some of these points on the older.
I mean, if you're changing a bulb with it on and you
well,
short it out,
70s games, it's not to that point yet.
and you short it out, maybe you'll blow a fuse.
That's it. Yeah.
You're not going to damage any component.
No. No, they're easy to deal with.
If a coil locks on,
So what?
coils do lock on these, right?
Yeah.
If coil locks on, it'll burn up and it'll blow a fuse.
Yeah, it won't burn points. It usually don't do anything else.
It doesn't blow up your MPU because there ain't one.
No. No driver transistors. You just put a new coil in, actually, and find out why it stopped. Maybe a rubber got small, shrunk up, or who knows,
So, I've been bad-mouthing EMs for a long time, but they ain't so bad.
I'm asked to work on them along with electronic stuff because people have both, generally,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are seeing it fade out, though.
Yeah.
It's becoming 80s and 90s pins, and I guess primarily 90s pins at this point.
Yeah.
But
It's got a limited audience, but it's
people who have vast collections, we were at Joe's. He has a line of EMs.
7, 8 of them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he goes all the way back to pre-wars.
Yeah.
But it makes when I go to see a collection, what impresses me, Ray, is variety. And actually, that's one thing Joe said, that he looks for variety.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't click, so I don't know, but I know I still see these.
I mean, so what? You got every A title in the book. That's
These
not
two
interesting
are
to me.
well, these two are restoration projects that we're doing.
You tell me you got a Medieval Madness and an Attack from Mars and a Monster Bash and an Addams Family and a Totem and a Theater. What else does Jim have? And an Indie. I'm picking on Jim.
And I got the Kings and Queens at home on the one. So.
That's bland. I think, in my opinion, a nice collection is one that's got.
Jim had an EM. It was Prospector.
No, I think it was called Klondike.
Oh, Klondike. That's right. Klondike.
But yeah, I think variety is the spice of life, you know. So, did we tell them everything? We actually did tell them just about everything there is to know about EMs. It's points, coils.
You can go to a show, or you can find these things all over the place for real cheap and have a pinball machine. It's not going to be a Attack from Mars or a Terminator 2 or whatever else you want to say, but it's a pinball machine. It's still entertaining. Still got the standard play field, you know.
I was playing Joe's. What was that one? Target Alpha. I was enjoying. That was fun. It was an EM. Yeah, I like the ones that have like regular size flippers. The ones with the little flippers, I mean, I might as well just plunge the ball and walk away. It's just like that Gottlieb baseball we had. That thing was horrible.
I like that.
You can't even play it.
That was a neat, old, well-done game.
You can't even play this stinking thing.
You know,
by the time the ball comes down towards the flippers, and if you're lucky, you get one swing at it.
We played how many games and that thing worked fine?
Well, it did work. I mean, it worked, but I can't tell you about the flippers much because I didn't really get to hit the ball.
It didn't like you.
It was freaking horrible. Hey, what is that up? What's that up there, Ray? What is that piece of junk on the end?
Asteroids control panel.
Yeah, that brings me to another point.
Oh.
I'm really confused, Ray. We've sold probably, well, now we haven't sold 843 asteroids in the past 30 years or whatever. But I can remember 5 or 6 over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I could swear that every one of them saved high scores.
Well, that's because
Yeah, I was watching this video. It pains me to watch these things still. I can't, you know, it's like a train wreck. I gotta watch. And the guy said, of course, he was showing his newest asteroids going off to a customer who's going to be very happy to have it and all that crap. Right. He said, of course, it does not remember your high scores. Got to get an Asteroids Deluxe if you want that. Of course, it does not remember your high scores. Got to get an Asteroids Deluxe if you want that.
Oh.
What's going on, Ray? Do asteroids or do not asteroids save high scores? And what's the difference between their machine and our machine again? Now we don't have one right now, but
this is an example. I'll play it.
Oh yeah, in fact, really?
Yeah.
Okay. This week's tech video becomes a video game test bench. It's going to work up here? Yeah. You've gotten that far already. If I knew you were working on this, I'd have grabbed you to work on something that pays money. Okay,
well, the High Score Saver kit is made by Braze Technology, and this is it. It's an add-on. It came out about 5 years ago. I've been putting them on ever since. It's a refurbished Asteroids board.
Okay, what do you do to recon an Asteroids board?
Well, I first wash it, some water. And I replace electrolytics. There's a few of them on it. Then you'll check for cold joints. This one needed rebuilt in the audio or the video section. And that's what these are all socketed for, because it had a lot of failed chips.
I hate video games.
And you take the mask ROMs and burn EEPROM data on them and get rid of those because they're not reliable even if they do work. So between that, this, and the few electrolytics, that's what you do to recon on these boards.
Yeah, and you clean up the edge connectors and all that fun stuff too.
Clean up the edge connector.
So that high score saver kit that's been out for what, a decade?
Probably 10 years, maybe 5,
Yeah.
maybe 10 years, because I used to do them for Joe.
Okay, well, shout out to everybody, to the 843 people who bought a machine there, but it doesn't, including the most recent guy.
This don't cost much, by the way.
It's like, what, 50 bucks?
Yeah.
And where is it available from?
Arcade Shop.
Arcade Shop. ArcadeShop.com.
Right.
Asteroids High Score Saver Kit.
Good.
You know, you would think if you sold 843 of those, you would know that.
Well, you got to keep up on what's available, right? This is my Asteroids test monitor. It's a little 13. I have a couple 19s rebuilt also. And this is the...
How are you going to play it? Oh, this, I got to work, I got to push these buttons over here?
Well, I'd have to hook the keyboard up.
Oh, well, there it is. Okay, it's alive
this
anyway.
Takes a little while to warm up because this is a vector monitor. It's been rebuilt, more than just caps, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it has a flyback and all the other associated parts that fail. People are under the misnomer that caps are the only thing that you put on one of these.
Oh, your amp's bad. Replace the caps.
Yeah, all caps. That's 2 cents a piece.
Oh, your pinball's bad. Replace the caps.
But anyway, you can see...
Caps are a maintenance. Well, caps will cause failure, but they're more of a maintenance item. Am I right or wrong?
These are the high scores. This is my testing. I didn't load it all up.
You can tell me I'm wrong.
This is...
It's too bright up here. I can't see shit. But that's fine.
There's 3. I didn't enter 10.
Yeah, I see. It's got high scores, and it's been sitting on the shelf for how long?
You know, I don't know,
Well,
but I would say I did it probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, not recently.
No.
Well, it looks like you play tested it 3 times. The high score of 130 is not very good.
It has no, yeah, I know. It has no battery, so it's okay to store. It stores high scores on the, and it's clearable, by the way.
Okay.
Resettable.
In the settings, probably.
No, on a control panel. You go into test mode, and you hold a sequence of keys. I think it's fire and up.
Oh, I don't know.
Fire and right.
It'd be in the
reset.
it'd be the instruction.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a neat add-on, and it also does more than a high score. It enables you to go to past 999,000 to 100,000.
Oh, okay. It also increases the ability. Okay, that's cool.
But that's a neat add-on. I like it. It gets rid of one of these old chips too.
And you know what? It makes the game more applicable to home use.
Yeah, because that's a bummer when you
turn it off and you lose your high score at home.
Default scores
What
come
the
on.
is that?
They figured it out by the time Deluxe came.
Well, they didn't all figure it out.
No, but some Atari games they figured out they wanted to have high scores, but you know they make the same thing for Galaga, because Galaga never saved high scores either.
Yeah, or one down there. It also
Defaults.
has. I guess is that in the same kit as the rapid fire?
Yeah.
So it gives you the speed up, which really actually makes that
selectable speed up.
It makes that game playable now because in slow
upon startup you get selectable key panel speed, and you can also now increase the score on that too. You can get to 1 million or something, or hundreds of thousands, I forget, but it increases the score thresholds on that too. But,
I hate video games.
yeah, well, they were a neat piece of history. They're some people follow them, but if you do work right, you know, that was in my truck and I stored it in a static bag, of course, but it still works fine. I carry it.
So that's your truck. That's your truck stop, because you get calls on
right. I have boards.
You get calls on 843 asteroids locally here, and
843. I lost track, but yeah, okay.
But yeah, you go out there and you're not diagnosing board problems on asteroids in somebody's house.
No.
What you do is you swap out. You give them a recon board with the high score saver
kit. It gets
kit.
nice and bright after it's on.
Yeah, that looks great. It's a shame there's so much burn on that.
Yeah,
That's why it's a test bench.
Yeah, these were all burnt. There's very little of these left from 1980 without that, 79, whatever. They were used a lot.
There were more the other day. I just put about 6 of those in the dumpster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you? Oh, I still got more.
You got more?
Them away.
Oh geez, there's more. You were hiding monitors on me. I'm throwing them out. I hate video games.
You gotta admit that's fun.
Damn it, Ray. I ran out of film, so this must be getting long again.
Yeah, it's not my fault I didn't do it.
At least we're not giving inaccurate information.
Here you go.
Well, what'd you... In the amount of time it took me to change cameras, you got that you're playing
Yeah.
Ray, that's
bad.
I bet you can score 310 that way. What are you doing? You can shock yourself back there. Be careful, would you?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Wait,
There it is.
where's the sound?
I have it turned down. I'm looking for it. Here it is.
You're dead.
See, you made me do the sound thing.
We're going to title this Watch Ray Play Asteroids Sideways on his test bench and save his high score. Ray, I think I'm going to have to get you an Asteroids. Looks like you're having fun.
I like it.
The game is so, but you're dead. You're really dead.
Come on, man. I gotta hit some of it. Crap.
Alright, I can't
Look
watch
at that.
this.
Look at that.
This is the most boringest video I ever saw. This is more boring than, hey everybody, this is the 843rd time we've done a video on a Miss Pac-Man, and we're going to show you the same shit we showed you last time. But this is
my test bench.
But this is the 844th one we did, so you're going to have to watch this again.
We get it.
Ray, would you step away from the asteroids?
I got it. I got it.
You're cheating. You're playing two players.
Well, I pushed two because the other button is broken. It's my test bench.
There is no other button. What
Well,
kind of
hang
test
there.
bench is this?
No, it was out of a broken game. I just used it for testing. Look at that little bugger.
So when asteroids got thrown out,
Yes.
that's sweet.
Sweet.
All right, Ray, quit that stuff. We got a new feature this week.
All right, well, I'm going to do the high score thing here. Watch this.
Well, you could put a high score in the other one, Ray. It just didn't save it. That's not exciting that you're putting in the high score.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, look, the other player got it. It was you.
I liked it.
Well, now you can wrap that up.
Check that out.
You can wrap that up. You can put that in its little static bag and
You turn it off.
put it back in your truck stock. Yeah, we know it stayed,
Turn it
right?
on.
Look, it's still there. Yeah. Well, that brings us to this week's feature, right? We're going to do a new feature now. We're going to have the email of the week. We have customers emailing us with, a lot of questions. Actually, we should do that too. If somebody asks a question, we should respond to it in this venue too. But this wasn't actually a question this week. This was a recommendation for our pin videos. Now, I know you're on the road doing your service all the time, and maybe you don't have too much of an idea what we do with our pin video. Have you ever watched any of the pinball feature videos that we put up?
Mm-hmm.
You have an idea what we do?
Yeah.
What you do, but you do it through me and through, Jim participates and all that. Thanks, Jim. So at any rate, we got an email with some suggestions, Al, on how we could improve our pin videos. You got it over there?
Yeah.
Would you showcase that? Read it out. Here, look at the
Oh,
camera.
yeah, we got this from Southampton, Gary S.
Gary S. in
He
Southampton.
says to improve the videos over what you're doing now. He has a
list,
outline,
a 4-point list.
Yeah,
Point
he has a
1.
list. He said to remove.
Well, read it.
Well, he said to remove the legs.
Okay.
He said that it would be more interesting if you could put the game on a pinball dolly,
Yeah.
and then he said get it at 0 pitch so the ball doesn't go anywhere. So you can use your hand to move the ball around.
No, wait. What did he say?
He said, well, you have to have a downer rack of ribs, I guess, but that isn't really. You don't want to get the grease all over the.
Down a rack of ribs?
Yeah, and then use your hand to toss the ball around on the playfield. But you have to have the zero pitch.
All right, Ray. This time, read it from the top to bottom and give me some zest, would you? That was kind of dull. Your presentation was weak, man.
Yeah,
Come on, give me some life here.
He said to remove the legs, put it on a pinball dot, and then you make sure you have zero angle on the playfield, no pitch.
That's important.
Yep. And then you've got to eat a lot of ribs, and then you're going to move the pinball around the playfield. And explain what's happening as you move the pinball.
That's really exciting. Thanks, Gary.
You must try that.
That was a great. We'll try to do that. Oh God, that's too much. But that was a serious email, Ray, and I think we are going to. Well, it was a serious joke of an email. We're going to start doing that because we get a lot of actually tech questions. Either through email or on the YouTube, and a lot of them are really valid, in-depth questions into what we're talking about, and I think we're gonna try to do that on a more serious note every week. We'll touch on an email.
We'll do our multimeter thing next week, and we'll do it on the bench here. I'll hopefully have more stuff straightened out, and we can show people how.
Coming next week, here's what we're going to do, Ray. We've been getting a lot of requests for multimeter again, or again. Let's just dedicate the whole show to multimeter, and of course, pointing out something goofy that those guys in Southampton do between now and then.
Well, that shouldn't be hard. But
yeah, and we can just. We can try to get a flavor of everything that you use the multimeter for to repair a pinball machine. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Just that.
And we'll fit in whatever we can in the amount of film that we can fit in these two cameras.
What I think I'll show on the meter use is probably AC voltage, DC voltage, capacitor check function, which is nice. Diode check function, which you can use to check diodes or transistors, and an amp meter function of it, which is important because the amp meter function on a multimeter nobody really uses, and I use it a lot when I'm trying to find a short somewhere.
Okay.
You should know how to use it and what it means. So between those, I think that would be a good thing to.
Very cool. You got a shout out this week? You already almost did it.
Yeah, I did shout out to Roller Coaster Bill, man.
Roller Coaster Bill?
Yeah.
Has he got any other names?
Hook Bill.
Has he got any other names?
Downhill Bill? I don't know. Doesn't he like to ski? Downhill Bill.
I had Ski Slope Bill, but you went with Downhill Bill.
Saw him at the show.
Yeah, that's a cool. We all like Bill.
He is going to be ready for more pins when
he's a great character. Yeah, I think he said he was headed up here one of these days.
He's getting
that's
his
cool.
home. He's going to move out of his apartment thing and get a home, and he's going to have more pins.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, hi from behind the camera too, Bill. We appreciate you. You're a great guy, and we like you a lot.
He's an avid watcher.
What else we got? So tune in. Oh wait, tune in Sunday. Today, what is today? Today's Thursday, so this is posting Friday. Today is Friday if you're watching this, or later, whatever. This Sunday we have a Triple B, a BBB from Joe Newhart's collection. It's going to be the first pin we post from there. BBB. Is anybody excited about that? Do you know that I think I actually beat the game. In one take.
Really?
I was playing against Jim. I got through the end of the game.
I thought it was more in depth.
I played every mode. I was to the end of the game.
I thought it was more in depth than Toten or like.
Well, he had it on.
Medieval.
He had it on 5-ball. We didn't change the settings. It was on 5-ball.
Okay.
But
yeah, but still.
I think I got to the end. But it was kind of a real letdown because it's like it's like having sex and then having somebody to have to tell you that you did. I didn't even know.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
I never played it that much to get to the end.
I didn't realize till I watched the video. I think I may have commented that it was blinking and it looked like I was at the end of something, but I beat the stinking thing.
Wow. Well, it's definitely a sought after.
So, Big Bang Bar coming up on Sunday. Then next week's video is going to be 97%, no 90%. We're going to do 90% of next week's video
Meters
over
on
the
the bench.
phone. No,
Meter.
no, we're going to do it over the
No.
phone. We're going to teach you how to use a phone to fix your machine. Now we're going to spend 90% of the video on multimeters and 10% of making fun of somebody. I can only guess who it's going to be.
Okay.
Is that all you got, Ray?
That sounds about right.
Does that sound like fun?
Yeah.
Did you fix anything interesting today?
No mind.
What did you work on?
A robot, what was it called? Magic Robot Impressionist.
The hell is
Made
that?
in the 30s, 1930s in England. And it was a big metal fortune teller game.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. There's only 2 known to exist.
And you worked on one.
Yep, it's going to Morphy's auction tomorrow in Adamstown. It's
Okay.
kind of a high-end auction of some sort. I've never been there, but I hear Larry DeBall's going to be there.
Don't know him.
Anyway, yeah, we'll do meter use and practical application of meters on the bench here. I'll situate and clean off some more stuff here, and I'm setting my bench up, man.
I'm excited about having another bench here.
It'll be my electronic bench. This is a wood bench. It's thick, it's butcher block. It's good to have electronic stuff because you've got all kinds of circuit boards on this, and they have voltage. This doesn't conduct voltage because it's wood. So you don't have to insulate boards. You just throw them on a bench and you can work on them.
Ray, last week was bench. This week's not bench.
Okay.
We're done with bench.
No meter on the bench. I gotta have a bench to show the meter, man.
Okay, well, we'll clean up your bench and we'll show your meter next
I
week.
can't show the meter on the phone.
Is there anything else on that notepad I wrote over there of any interest?
No.
Okay.
No, that's it.
Asteroids High Score Saver Kit.
There it is.
Yeah.
And see who is there.
Yeah.
You ain't getting them off there.
You're right about that.
You're right. Yeah, because he don't want it, because he can get 10 grand on that. You
Who,
used to like
me?
that when we had these in here. We used to,
I hate
put all them
Asteroids.
in.
Asteroids is the worst video game ever.
You put all your scores on that, and when one of our customers bought it, I never cleared. Well, I think I had to clear him because he couldn't get over them.
Okay, I like Asteroids.
It's a classic game. There are others. Video has a limited following anymore because it's all over the place. But
Speaking of limited following, if we talk much longer, we're going to have a limited following.
I know.
By the way, welcome to another ton of new subscribers. We're picking up, oh, I don't know, 10, 15 a day at this point, Ray. I don't know what you did to deserve that, but
Nothing. I just mumble.
But we're glad to have you. The usual invitation is to comment and participate to whatever level you would like. We appreciate to hear from you, and we're happy to help you however we can. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you Sunday.
Sunday next.
Properly mount the game on a pinball. No, number one. Remove the legs. But set them aside because they're used, and we're going to put them back on.
Well, if he was there while we were there and he was filming us, he was afraid to talk to Jimmy and I don't know why.
He'll be all right.
Why didn't he say something?
Because he's scared to death.
Oh man, come on. He was watching. He was waiting for you. He was missing you.
He doesn't even know who I am. You're just puppets. I'm the puppeteer.
Yeah, he wanted to see you. That's why he didn't think we were worth talking to.
All right,
Some
Ray.
sort of way about that.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to Lemoyne.
Why?
I'm buying a Addams Family pin
Woohoo!
and fixing some games at the same place.
I saved a slot on the floor for that for the Halloween party.
I was trying to talk you into going along. But
No. I got stuff to do, man.
Okay. Yeah, Lemoyne is up the road a ways. He's a good old customer over the last 10, 15 years. He has about 20 games in his game room, maybe.
If
Maybe
you-
I'll come back with some of the video.
I was just starting to. You read my mind. I said, if you come back with that, if you come back with that
Big sit down.
stinking sit down Star
Wow, neat.
Wars,
I'm going to put that in my game room.
that Well, if you come back with it, you are going to put it in your game room.
I don't have room for that kind of stuff.
Thing's so big it won't even fit in the dumpster. Okay. Going home, Ray.
Yeah.
Give me another goodbye to the people because your last one was really weak.
Well, I am really weak. We'll see you all, man. Stay tuned.
Hi, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Want to know what's coming next? Go like us on Facebook right now. You can keep up to date with all of us here at the shop and what we've been up to. Thank you for watching.